Good evening, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good night, enjoying life, living life, loving life. I wanted to get on and talk to people about the Postal Trust and how it operates by law. I think this is a very important point that people are missing in regards to your own use of the postal system and how it's supposed to operate. So, let's start out with, everybody's heard that the post office is not only the post office, but a bank and a courthouse. They operate all three realms as that entity. You have that same capability. You are the executor of everything you do, and that is your responsibility. And so when we send things out in the mail, we have three parties on that envelope. The one party is named by the obligation up in the top right hand corner. The other two are the addressee and the addressor. Now, the addressee and the addressor are using the postal system as a third party. 1, 2, 3. Okay? You're granting a document through the mail under a trustee of the post system, and the beneficiary is the one receiving, and that's your trust. Now, in the same capacities, this guy that's receiving, in all acts in commerce denoted by the stamp, the U.S. postage stamp used on the envelope, Title 18 of the United States Code, Section 8, says obligations of the United States. And down at the bottom you see it says United States stamps and canceled United States stamps. They are still under obligation. Okay? That's your witness. Okay? This guy here, particularly if it's somebody like the clerk of courts, is operating as a clerk, the financier. Yeah. And he's making the judgment. So he's acting as the court of whether he's going to accept that filing or not. It's already been filed and on the record. Face of the record shows it's been filed when that certified return receipt and that registered mail numbers come back saying, yep, it's been delivered. It's been filed. According to the post office, it's been filed. According to the trust established, it was received. Therefore, it's filed. Now, whether they want to file it electronically or not is up to them. The requirement for an electronic filing in these court systems does not extend to the postmaster. Get it? Get it? That's what they're trying to subvert by saying, well, you have to file it electronically. Now, on the opposite side of that, when they say you have to file it electronically, they want you to file it electronically from your computer device, thereby obtaining electronic securities attached to your address, performing a commercial event, and now a federal foreign trade zone, because you're participating in that requirement. If you know your position as the grantor, you don't move off that square. Period. You're the one that's granting the document as a matter of trust, and this is verified by the operation of law. There's three people involved: the grantor of the document, the trustee of the document that's supposed to transfer it. That's the main trustee duty, is to transfer. point A to point B, one ledger to another ledger. If they don't want to record it, that's on them. They're proving they don't want to be beneficiary. They're proving they're proving, particularly if in the situation I'm talking about specifically in regards to myself and my companion, a debt collector sends you a notice. You respond to him requiring validation of debt, and instead of validating the debt, he goes to a third-party intervener known as a lawyer, attorney, who then presents presumptions to a court who is willing to accept them presumptions and then try to convince you that you have to file electronically. Excuse me, this was all done prior to any electronic filing. It was done in definitive paper form. That was the information of the contract, was in definitive paper form, and therefore it remains in definitive paper form. It remains, the liability remains in admiralty. Why is this? When they try to convince you that you have to file electronically, it uses an electronic signature instead of a wet ink signature, which is definitive. Any hacker can get on a program and start hacking away on simple local files like this that are a matter of public record. Personage, trafficking in persons, fraud. That's fine and dandy. That's your person to commit it against. But the trust is already established once they receive it. That's why we use that certified green return and the registered mail. The registered mail ensures that it is under lock and key by the post office. That's their trustee position, is to keep it under lock and key. They are affirming that trustee position through that certified return receipt. If it has no value, under lock and key. If it's actually got $25,000 in value or more, I believe, you can actually place down in that little green card, you can check insured because you're paying for it. So it's going to cover that insurance. It might change the rate a little bit, but you cover it with insurance. If that document is worth $25,000 or more, insure that puppy. And they're held, yeah, it's insured. And that registered mail is important in that aspect. So remember this. But that's your postal trust. You are, in fact, postmaster, banker, in your own court. You just have to know how to operate them in different realms and realizing you are always your own portmaster. Quit letting these other people tell you you have to do it their way, because then they're being the portmaster and you're just being a person. A person that they use and abuse. Learn this stuff so they quit abusing you. The particular situation I'm talking about is that the local clerk of courts received our document with registered mail and green certified return receipt, which a copy was also sent in letter form. The clerk of courts received a book form, sealed together on the left side, bound together on the left side, book form. They received it as one book. They didn't want to read it and take heed. They wanted to instead demand that we have to file it electronically. Sorry, that's not the way the law is written. Better read it. And I posted on this. You'll see it. I posted 3 posts today in regards to this. And you'll read it. They then turned around after sending it back to the United States Post Office without mailing it or without filing it. We $2 gave equal consideration, proving the trust, signed and dated it. Proving the trust. Sealed, equal consideration given, parties are bound. Parties are bound. This is evidence that they sent back showing that they require us to file electronically. Ain't going to work that way. Then they turn around and send us another notice. And again, just like this other one, it's unsealed. We'd never opened this. We just put the 2 stamps on it and constructed the trust. This here, again, this time they use 50 cents, but we're not going to do anything but include this in with this trust. Dates show difference, but from the same county clerk. Now, if you remember, approximately 2 years ago, I posted another envelope from the clerk of courts in a similar situation where we had gone to court. Instead of doing this through the mail, we decided we'd go ahead and go to court after we got a notice from the attorney. When we got to court and we asked the attorney to validate the debt through this, this, and this, she got all haughty and said, well, we got to go talk to the judge. Well, in talking to the judge, they turned around and extended it out for 6 months, and then we ignored that. Then they sent us an envelope in the mail, and I just wrote all over it, and you'll see it in my pictures. All kinds of nice little codes about how they're committing fraud. And we never heard from them since. Now we've got another debt collector trying the same thing, and this time the clerk of courts is just ignoring our filing. Already proven to have been filed. We've got the receipts and everything showing they received it, and proof that the clerk of court sent it back to us, and I've not unsealed it. This is the same book form document I sent to them, and they don't have it on file. So, that's breach of trust. That's breach of public trust. That's breach of the obligation of the United States on their end. Committing a felony as a public official is what's known as a high crime, and they come under military court-martials with heavy common law penalties. Again, another instrument of trust where we didn't use a United States stamp. We used a homemade stamp with a private security number and a prepaid account number. According to the public trust, the trustee, without a green return receipt or a registered mail number. They recognize it without it, and it's not $1, it's not 50 cents, it's not $2, it's one whole unit. Everything within here is one whole unit. They better know how to read that. They better know how to read that. Anyway, again, confirmation that it went from point A to point B, and the receiver at point B opened it, proving there's a trust in play at the current time. Don't just learn how to use the postal system. Learn what part you play in it. You are always the grantor when you send something. If you're going to do it from private party to private party, you can most often, almost always, should be able to use a homemade stamp. And I say this that way because we all know the corruption and the idiocy that runs amongst the ranks of these personages. So there are going to be many instances where even though you're correct, they're going to give you hell trying to prove it. When you're dealing with these commercial entities, give it the equal consideration. Confirm the trust on the face of the document. That's your evidence. I keep trying to explain to people. They send you this stuff and you want to, what should I? I'm keeping it for evidence. I'm copying that bitch. I'm going to amend it, or I'm going to make a list of admissions or something, and I'm going to send it back and let them know you monkeyed with the wrong monkey. Learn the trust. 18 U.S.C. Section 8. Under the obligations or other securities of the United States, it clearly and specifically points out United States stamps and canceled United States stamps. Now, if they have a right to create a stamp, don't you have a right to create your own stamp as your own postmaster? Damn right you do. Quit being afraid. Educate yourself, get rid of the fear, and start asserting yourself. And remember, it's not just your postal power, it's your banking power along with your ability to judge for yourself. Be your own court. In reference to the rest of your court, remember, it's your peers, your entourage, people that are the same kind. They know how to operate or conduct themselves as a man. They know how to behave as a man. It's not behave, it's behave as a man in the now time. Not a has-been or a might be. Quit your dreaming and quit your fearing. Live in the now time and learn how to behave as a man at all times by knowing what those positions of a man truly are encompass and what the responsibilities are. See, you're also an educator. You're also a spiritual guider. You're supposed to be all of these things. If you're going to be any of it, you got to get back to the beginning, and that's the beginning of yourself. Where did you go wrong? Yeah, system's bad. It's corrupt because of the people in it and their intelligence and their not knowing. And God, it's written in their own laws. It's written in their own laws. Let me see here. Title 10 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Section 2.304, it says formal. Remember, we were talking about in formation of contract. In formation of the original contract was definitive paper form. So formal requirements for documents, signatures, acceptance for filing under 10 CFR 2.304. And it says paper documents, signatures. And the importance of this, like I explained just a few minutes ago, is that the wet ink signature has a superior status when it comes to any kind of legal processes. See, this electronic filing is a simulated legal process. They are simulating a wet ink signature with an electronic signature that doesn't even exist. It's just an acknowledgement by somebody else on a keyboard that says, yeah, I'm that guy. Imagine where we're going now. Clerk of courts has all your information. Yeah, I'm that guy. I just filed documents on his behalf. Yeah, I'm that guy. We won't file his documents, but we'll file documents on his behalf. Yeah, I'm that guy. He won't file electronically, so we'll file some for him electronically. Or it's the electronic filing on file is unrebutted because he hasn't filed the electronic filing. It's not a requirement for me to file electronically. See, I file a definitive paper form, and then it's their trust duty to then transfer that form into their records in electronic filing to save space. Paperwork Reduction Act. But it's not up to me. That doesn't apply to me. What applies to me is my superiority in being able to provide what it says here, a signature, a wet ink signature. When submitted such documentation for said cases above and yourself as trustee operating the public trust as clerk of courts, i.e. chief financial officer, failed in your obligation to file it in your records. However, we have prima facie evidence of this fact in our records. And the fact that we indeed did follow, as near as may be, the process set out before in the above-mentioned Code of Federal Regulations to which yourself is bound, having failed to adequately file this document yourself in your records and requiring us to file electronically is in fact an element of simulated legal process. Nowhere does any law require the common man to file electronically, as this would subvert the validation and testimonial aspect of a signature in wet ink form. Period. And this is not a legal determination. This is a lawful determination set out by operation of law. (5 CFR 582.30) honoring legal process. The agency shall comply with the legal process, except where the process cannot be complied with because it is not regular on its face. The legal process would require the withholding of funds not deemed pay as described in CFR 582.102A5. 3. It does not comply with U.S. Code 5, Section 5520A. 4. An order of a court of a competent jurisdiction enjoining or suspending the operation of legal process has been served on the agency. That document I just showed you that was sent back to us was said document of competent court of jurisdiction enjoining them in a cross libel against the false and misrepresented complaint of an alleged debt before their court that they accepted without proving, first, personal jurisdiction or subject matter jurisdiction. This can be proven because nobody, none of them, not a single one, has authority to contact the Secretary of State, Bureau of Vital Statistics, and have delivered to their doorstep a certificate of live birth in my name, the marketable title. Imagine that. And now they're going to try to subvert the definitive paper form, which I have a right as entitlement holder and intended recipient to have and to hold in my hands the marketable title. I don't think so. Let's see. 5 CFR 1653.13. Processing legal processes. Why would they have a code under 5, the administrative code? Yeah, Electronic Code of Federal Regulations, Title 5, Administrative Personnel. That says processing legal processes. Isn't that telling you that the administrative process is not a legal process? Processing legal processes as opposed to administrative processes. Why is that? Because, see, in the administrative process, they can never have and hold the person. Even if they arrest him and put that son of a bitch in handcuffs, he can slide right out of them. It's just a matter of positioning. The payment. This is the very first words of this section, people. Think about this now. The payment of legal processes from the TSP is governed solely by the Federal Employees Retirement System Act. 5 U.S.C. Chapter 84. Now, when we click on that, why is that, people? CFR 1653.13, processing legal processes. Now here we see 5 U.S.C. Chapter 84 is referred to this as the Federal Employees Retirement System Act. Not found. Already we find in this code an inconsistency that can be used against them. In regards to processing legal processes. Because it refers to the Federal Employees Retirement System Act, which is actually the Old Age Pension Fund. What is the Old Age Pension Fund? Well, we saw this TSP in here. It's just an abbreviation. That stands for Thrift Savings Plan. Thrift Savings Plan. That's what the Social Security Administration is. And it says, and by the terms of this subpart, although the Thrift Savings Plan will honor legal processes properly issued by a competent authority. Remember, or earlier it said a court of competent jurisdiction. Now we're talking about competent authority. Remember, I said you're your own postmaster, you're your own banker, and you're your fucking own court. Those entities have no jurisdiction over the TSP, and the TSP cannot be made a party to the underlying proceedings. Wait a minute here. Wait 1 minute here. If these district courts are courts of inferior jurisdiction, meaning incompetent jurisdiction, meaning courts of incompetency, those entities have no jurisdiction over the TSP, and the TSP cannot be made a party to those underlying proceedings. Now, if the Thrift Savings Plan can't be made party to those underlying proceedings, then what the fuck, excuse my language again, are they using the Social Security number for in those cases? Isn't that in and of itself fraud upon the court? Therefore, anybody saying that they have personal jurisdiction and presenting that number before the court is committing indefinitely fraud upon the Thrift Savings Plan. The TSP will review legal process to determine whether it is enforceable against the TSP only after the TSP has received a complete copy of the document. Receipt by an employing agency, Department of Justice. The Attorney General of the United States Department of Justice, William Barr, has by receipt, certified return receipt, received as an employing agency or any other agency of the government does not constitute receipt by the TSP. Legal process should be submitted to the TSP record keeper. The record keeper means the entities the board engages to perform record-keeping services for the Thrift Savings Plan. Who does that board employ? The United States? The Department of the Treasury? The Department of Justice? They fucking employ them all. They're all employees. They're all agents. They all have the fiduciary responsibility by operating under the public trust, the Thrift Savings Plan. It says, at the current address provided at http://www.tsp.gov. United States government. And don't they just make it look like a happy old retirement? But wait a minute. It's just the chairs. There ain't nobody there. Everything you need to know about our funds. We'll be with you every step of the way. Get them off your back, people. Get them off your back. We offer a variety of investment options for your retirement. You can choose your own mix of investments from a short-term U.S. Treasury security to index funds made of domestic and international stocks. Or if you prefer, choose one of our life cycle L funds that uses a professionally determined investment mix designed to deliver a balanced approach to investing based on when you'll need your money. Well, if it's your money and it's based on when you need your money, why are we dealing with their funds? Ask yourself this, people. How many years you have to invest? The older you get, the fewer years you have to invest. And the older you get, and the more you realize, the more you're getting fucked. Why do you keep investing? Quit! To change which funds you invest in, there are two transactions you can make. A contribution allocation. Tell us how you want to invest new money coming into your account. An interfund transfer allows you to change the way money already in your account is invested. They're telling you right there, they are investing the money in your account. It's your account. It's their funds. The way money and how you want to invest new money. you are allowed 2 IFTs in a calendar month. After that, you can only transfer money into the G fund. You may request a contribution allocation or an IFT by visiting My Account online transaction. Only Thrift Savings Plan participants may use this site. Notice it does not say employees, contractors, this and that. It says participants. Accessing your account for the first time? You can also call the thrift line at 1-877-968-3778 and follow the automated prompts. Folks, just a real quick tip. When you're calling these automated systems and they tell you to follow the automated prompts, 0, 0, 0. I believe the third time is always the charm, and they get you to a live representative. In the meantime, I hope you appreciate the information I'm putting out here. I'm going to come back here in a little bit and talk again about that motor vehicle lease and how it starts and how it goes along down the line for resale and not for export and this and that. So if you want a little more details on that, stop back and see me again here in a little bit about 8 o'clock. About 20 minutes from now, I'll be back on. In the meantime, if you missed it, go back, rewind, watch this video again, take notes. Start doing your own research and realize they're screwing you because you let them, because you don't know your capacities and how to assert them. You are the postmaster. You are your own banker. You are your own judge. You need to start proving it. Do your research so you can ascertain what is there, what isn't, what is right, what is wrong, who's lying, who's not, and determine for yourself, discern any concerns before they get turned. In the meantime, remember folks, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. God bless. I love you. I'll paste my other forum links and my PayPal link. If you feel like sending me some love, please hit that PayPal link. If not, don't worry about it. Hit the share button. Share the video. Share my links. Share the info in the links. Share all the videos in those links. Everything. Share it. It's all free knowledge. I got it from the public forum. It's free to reprint in any form. In the meantime, again, God bless. Love you. Bye.